Hey, what's going on, my friends? It's Dave Sharpe here, and welcome to Wake Up Legendary. This morning we have somebody who is experiencing more than just financial breakthroughs, as I have experienced from this industry as well. So I can very much so relate to that it's not just all about the money for me, but I've transformed, and in a sense, this industry has, in a way, also saved or given me a life. I can very much so relate to our guest this morning. So please help me welcome to the show, Brie. How are you?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Hey, you're very welcome. I think you're calling in from the same state that I'm in. Is that right?
Yes, I
Florida.
am in South Florida.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
So, tell us a little bit about um, what were you looking for? What, what drove you or brought you online, and then how did you either come across Legendary, or were you looking for something when you found us?
Right. So, long story short, I
Yeah,
in November I had quit my job. I was a club manager for private country clubs, and it's a very challenging and defeating job mentally and
yeah.
physically. And I just came to like a cracking point, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I can't live life this way. Like, it's just. I was extremely depressed and I quit and I had no idea where to turn.
Do you have like a notification popping off that you could silence over there? Or is that on my end? It
Let
may very.
me That's mine. It's off. I
Okay, cool.
apologize.
No worries. Thank you.
But so I was on TikTok and I'm thinking, I'm like, I don't want to work. Like, I'm just so depressed
It's
and
still
sad. Like, I
going
want
off there. I don't know what it is. It's just like
to
ding, and it's super distracting. I want people to hear your story. So,
I'm so
can you
sorry.
just X out all under other windows and force quit any other apps that are going on your computer?
Yes, I apologize
No
so
worries, no
much.
worries. No worries, no worries. Hey, I love this kind of stuff. I love to show people that you don't have to be perfect. You just have to get out there and do it. And even as you're turning off noises and changing things, you can still educate or even entertain people. Right? What we do is
Yes.
we edu you know, we edutain people here, and you can certainly still continue to do that even if you screw up or need to change that. So, Bree, no need to apologize. I just like to talk about what it's really like to be an entrepreneur and an online marketer, and these sort of things give us an opportunity to talk about those things. So, no
Yeah.
worries. Thank you for the teachable moment. And so you were at a breaking point, working as a manager at country clubs, and what happened next?
Yeah.
You were
So
on
I,
TikTok, I
I
guess. You were scrolling TikTok.
Yeah, I was on TikTok actually. She was on your show, Shannon, who did phenomenal. I actually something about her video kind of just like reached out to me, and I could relate to her, which was one thing that I took from her and brought to my own is being relatable to people.
Yeah.
And so I messaged her and I explained, and she was like, "This is great, blah blah. Give it a try." So I started it, and first video, I was in tears. I was literally crying, like an intro video of your story, and I was hooked. Since then, I spent every single day studying, watching videos, educating myself, and kind of experimenting.
Mm. Wow, I
Yeah.
love that word. I love that word, experimenting. So have you ever now the reason why I love that word is because, Bree, have you ever done or operated a business before?
No, that definitely not, and it's a big learning experience. I actually did. I started in January, and I made a TikTok, and I had this idea of like it just didn't work out. So I
I've had
quit
I've had 1 million of those, by the way.
I was reading through the legendary Facebook, and I was just extremely great resource to take advantage of, even to just read through comments. And so many people were like, my first account just failed horribly. Second one always goes better. So I'm like, okay, well, I don't feel as bad anymore. So I ditched that TikTok and I started a brand new one with a whole different outlook and ideas. And it just happened to work well for me.
Yeah. Sometimes when you just start over and just, just kind of start from scratch. Sometimes it's easier to build a home than to try to remodel something that's already existing. And, I think that's a good analogy for a lot of our social media accounts. A lot of us have social media accounts that we've had for a long time, and those are also all intertwined with friends and family. And so a lot of times the smartest thing for somebody to do is just start a new profile. Just start a new profile. Now, you know, there are times as well where you may be marketing on any platform, whether it be paid or organic, and it makes sense to just go ahead and start a new profile. It's also not a crime in any way, shape, or form to have multiple profiles going at multiple times. I mean, real big marketing agencies and so forth may have hundreds of accounts that they're
Right.
managing, and they have access to them all inside of their either Instagram app or their, and so there are no rules. And I think that's one of the biggest things that it's difficult to communicate to folks, is because we do have so many questions when we come in, right? We do have so many questions. But the word that you used, experiment, as long as you're setting up the pages the way that we show you, the way that you're generally writing copy, the way that we teach you, there's room for experiment. And that's where I get so crazy, both excited and frustrated, because I it's so difficult to communicate that you literally can do anything that you want and there's no rules. You can totally experiment even outside of what somebody has said you should do, right? Even me. And I just wonder how that's going for you. Do you struggle with that much open space, or is that
Yeah,
something that
no. So yes, I do. I know in the training there was a lot of don't reinvent the wheel, which I love to try to do. So that's hard for me when you do have all that open space and there are no rules, and that's very hard to stick to. And all I have to say is my greatest success were the videos that I did not reinvent the wheel. I found what worked for other people, but I did end up putting my own twist to it that makes it my own style. And those are the ones that did the absolute best for me, is when I didn't try to go too far out of the way to create my own. It didn't work. It just didn't work.
yeah.
Knew what the people have done that succeeded at it, and my own methods didn't work.
So I want to talk just a little bit briefly about all the emotion that came up for you, and how you felt so, um, moved or inspired or seen, right, by the video that I created. You said that you felt, I would assume you felt real seen and understood. As a matter of fact, you wrote into us that you felt no one ever understood your kindness and sort of felt like you're alone in the world. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. I certainly can. So talk to us a little bit about the emotional appeal to you, and talk to us both from your experience, but also as a marketer. Why do you think that I talk to people every single morning? Because I want to stay really intimately connected with what's going on in people's heads that I'm marketing to. So it's almost this is a masterclass every morning to learn about people's psychology and how they buy and what moves them in sales material, right? Marketing material. So are you able to go back and sort of reverse engineer the emotional appeal that in the copy and the, you know, the angles that I used, and it was real. I was showing videos of things that I've done and stuff like that. But are you able to go back and somewhat dissect or analyze that process and now say, what can I apply about from that into my marketing?
Yes. So going back to the whole like emotional part of it and why it moved me and how I put that into my marketing was, like I said, I was working at private clubs, and it's rough on you. People are very mean, and so that's when I kind of felt like my kindness was always taken advantage of. And then hearing your words and how they touched me, I figured that that's a route that if you can connect with me that way, then I can connect with other people by sharing my own story. And so, yes, I said that I feel like my kindness is overlooked and I'm misunderstood. But like you said, there's so many other people that feel that way. So I didn't really do it in my video marketing, just because I feel like that should be more light and entertaining. So like entertaining and educating. But it is for all of the people who had opted in to my page. That's when I really got down, and my emails were very descriptive into my own story, and they were extremely personal, to be completely honest. Probably a little too personal, but I am an open book, and I like to share those things because that makes it real. And I think because when people started receiving my emails, that's when I started getting greater success, because I was opening up. Like, you might see this girl on TikTok and she's great and fun and she lives in Florida and great life, but like when you get in and see the emails, there's a whole different side of me. And I think that's when people are
Yeah.
like, oh my God, like I get that. Like it's easy to put on the act, but when you open up to people, then they really start trusting you.
Yeah.
And that's when my greatest success came into.
Absolutely. And also think about it from this perspective as well as everything that you just said, which was completely spot on. We need to capture someone's attention long enough to capture their heart and mind, right? We can't do that in 15-second videos on TikTok. It's hard, right? You can do that in lives, but it's hard to tell your story in 15 seconds. Ask the guy who
Mm-hmm.
it takes 15 minutes to introduce myself or somebody else. Um, so it's difficult to tell your full story and connect emotionally with somebody in 15 seconds. But you're right. If it's entertaining and it's educational enough, you know, really is all you're doing is you're just really, it's kind of like fishing. That's why I call it the fishing formula in the blueprints, because it's like there's a piece of bait, and somebody just is like swimming by and, hey, I'm hungry, I'll take that bait. And it's like, hey, you know, now I can't stop watching. You know, now I want more of it. You know, it's where fish don't want to come in the boat. Our customers ideally do want to come in the boat because they want more of what we're more of that shrimp or that bait. But my point is that it takes time to expose people to your full story and to really connect with them emotionally longer than 15 seconds. And you know, even though we live in a Tinder in a Tinder world, it takes longer to connect with people than 15 seconds. Despite what your fathers may have taught you out there, young men, it takes longer to connect with people than 15 seconds. So we have to offer them something that's valuable enough that they'll say, yes, I'll give you my email in exchange for that. So we then can bring them to a page to where we can, you know, capture their hearts and their minds, which is exactly what you said. I go into more depth on my bridge page. Well, the beauty about in the reason why we can go into more depth on that bridge page is because if for some reason they have to leave, or if some reason they X out because of whatever reason, we have their email address and we can
Mm-hmm.
follow back up with them. And so eh, I just am fascinated when I hear you say what you said, which is that process was exactly the same process that you experienced as a buyer. And it's important to go back and dissect that because, you know, we can learn a lot from it. But you made that this what I just told is exactly what you did. You were curious. You were made to be curious by short 15-second videos. You opted in there was no emotion yet. There was no, I mean, there was just curiosity, right?
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
mean, no real big feelings. But now you said her name was Shannon, the affiliate that you,
Mhm.
so now Shannon had you opt in, you came to the bridge page, but now she has your email. Now you're sitting on the sales page. You've watched her bridge page, you're watching that video, and now we've got time for you to watch a 20-minute sales video. And if you leave, Shannon can follow back up with you.
Mhm.
It's just that what happened is exactly, it's just, if you ever doubt the marketing and what we're teaching, just go back, any of you, go back and look at exactly how the marketing worked on you. It's the same way when I go and buy a something at a store or order something online, I always dissect it and say, what is pulling at me? What's working about this marketing? Or in another case, what repels me about this marketing or this person? I like to dissect things like that. And so, what other ways are you learning about what to say to your target customer? Are you imagining, and you're working, I think, in the make money online niche. So, are you imagining that they have a lot of the same struggles as you have? How are you learning to relate to them through your speaking videos and your writing?
So, yeah, I just kind of, I want to say that I just feel like there's a lot, most people feel the way that I feel and they just don't want to say it. And I feel like that's specifically why I didn't want it to show in my videos. I didn't want it to be that way. So I push it aside to the back so people who really care, like if they read it, they know, they understand. But essentially, I just kind of, I'm just honest and open with my own self, and then whoever follows and agrees, like I guess I don't specifically go out and find the perfect wording. I say what I'm feeling, and
Yeah,
that seems to work really well for me.
yeah.
So it's just, I feel like for me that just kind of generates a very organic and very trusting community of my own because I didn't
Mm,
try to fake anything. I didn't write
mm,
out my scripted words for my video. I spoke the truth and how I was feeling in that moment, and I feel like people really do like that.
yeah. Yeah,
Just
they do.
raw material.
Yeah. How did you get relaxed enough on camera to be able to actually put together coherent thoughts? A lot of people can talk, like talk the ears off a jackrabbit if they're not on camera, but then when they get on camera it's like all those communication skills, they blah, 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 just kind of, they just freeze up. Did you have that experience, and if so, like what did you do to overcome it?
100%. I was home alone. Like I remember the first videos I was making, I was home alone. I was in my backyard and I was actually like whispering, like talking. I'm like, "Hi, this is Brie." And I'm like, "Oh my god, like that's so awkward and so embarrassing. You can't." It took multiple times. I actually had to end up going in my house because I'm like, "What if the neighbors can hear me?" Like I was very freaked out about that. And I told somebody said, I watched a video and somebody said, act like you're on FaceTime with somebody, which is also
Mm,
kind of psychological. You just have to train yourself to do it. But I just kind of
yeah,
kept telling myself that. Uh, it just, I kept recording, and this is, I don't really know how this helped me, but I got like one of the little ring lights. So like
yeah.
when you're not holding your phone for some reason, that made it a lot easier for me because it just made it more like natural when it's
I
just like
like
sit
that
over
tip.
here and I'm like back here, so it's not as forced
Yes.
in my face and
Oh,
awkward.
gosh, Brie. That is such a good tip because I really, really also do much better when I'm not holding. And plus, and also the phone's not shaking around. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like, even if you're not a shaky person, like a lot, like just the shaking of just your body and when you're talking and all
It's
that, like what,
distracting.
it is
And
distracting to the viewer. So I think that for us as like this, more like every day my hands are free. I get to I mean, I use the webcam on my computer. I mean, it's right there, and then I have this I've spoken about my microphone several times. It sits right there. There's some fancy thing that has buttons on it and stuff. One day I just plugged a couple of things in and it worked, and I was just like, holy shit, don't touch that again. So it's just kind of like, my point here is that I love that tip, and low production, simple solutions, right? That's what is winning right now. There's no need to overcomplicate or even think that you're not capable, because just maybe a simple tweak like putting your phone on a little tripod or setting it there might help you to be more relaxed. There's so many simple solutions for the problems that sometimes we feel like are we can't get through. Or have you come up against anything so far in your journey where you were like close to quitting but you didn't, and what was that experience like?
Yes. So with the little defeat that I had for my first one, like I said, that was it is a little embarrassing. I mean, it's not really, because I mean, realistically, it's literally not embarrassing at all. But for
You
me, it was.
felt you felt embarrassed.
I did, because I had a first
Yeah,
TikTok and it did really, really, really bad. And like,
that's totally
again, like,
fine.
so bad that nobody
Brie,
saw it. So who am I embarrassed?
but I just want to say that I do things that are embarrassing, or that I'm that are it's I mean, it's I just want everybody to know that it's actually I actually try sometimes now to embarrass myself, because it's like if I can take that, I can take anything. And now, not by being vulgar, or not by, but just by doing silly shit, just by, popping up on the camera every day in the same shirt, and people not knowing whether I've actually washed it and taken a shower or not, and then actually saying that so people think, damn, does he really not take showers or do his laundry? And I'm going to leave that up for your imagination. But my point here is that that this is all just an experiment anyways. And here's the cool thing about our initial embarrassing content is we act like it's going to be the State of the Union address and the entire world's gonna watch it. And it's like, no, just one person in India, one person in Indonesia, and two people in New York City saw your first video. It's like, get over it, you know what I mean?
100%.
but
And
but
that's what I had
anyways,
to
I
tell
I
myself.
just ranted. So
No.
go ahead. I'm sorry. You said the
So
first one was embarrassing, and I asked you how you overcame a situation, scenario, something when you wanted to quit.
yes. So more so the second time, I was in the process of I was driving from Florida to Ohio. I was going through, like, there's a lot of things going on in that time. So I was just kind of down again, and I kind of neglected my page for about like a week. And for some reason, that gave me so much like hidden anxiety that I can't go back on. Like, I've missed so much. Like, you're supposed to be consistent. Like, if I go back now, like, it's ruined. And so I pushed it off for like another 5 days, and then I'm like, oh my god, like, what did I do? Like, I worked so hard, I ruined it. And then I was like, you know what? Just get on your computer. Like, what does it matter? Just do it. Like, what did you miss? You're hurting yourself for not going back. I don't know why
Right.
that bothered me so much, but I went back, and then I made sure I was consistent every single day after that. And that's when things started really escalating for me.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's hilarious too, because we do like really truly hold ourselves to this presidential level, don't we?
No, I do. And I was very disappointed in myself if I only posted like 2 videos one day. I'm like, oh my God, like, you need to be posting more than that. It took me some training. I actually scheduled out my day and my content so that way I could stay on track with myself and not get behind and not
Mm,
feel like I have to give up because I'm too far behind. But realistically, it's your own page. There are no rules or guidelines. So really, are you ever behind?
never.
So
Never. I mean, I know guys, yet to they're out there though. These are just a couple of guys who I've known recently in the last couple of years who, made tons of money in affiliate marketing and built up huge YouTube channels, and then just would disappear and not post on them for like 6, 7, 8, 9 months, and then come back and post one video. And you can do that. You can do that more. It's easier to do that once you've got some consistency. You've got some traffic flowing in. You've got an email list you can work with. But yeah, the truth is that from a business standpoint, it's not smart to not show up and open the doors of your business 365 days a year. From a business side, yeah, it's not the smartest thing. But in a from a, that's from a short term. From a long term, it doesn't even matter. You know what I mean? Long term, it does not matter one bit if you miss 1, 5, 10. It's just long term, it doesn't matter. Over the next month, is missing 10 days of showing up to your business going to hurt you this month? Yes. Is it going to hurt you next year? No. It's not. And I think that's one of the things that's difficult for us entrepreneurs and new entrepreneurs to do is to rise above the kind of week or month and look more long term. Tell us what your experience with that has been. Is that also difficult for, I mean, sounds like you've had challenges like that, because I think that's the mindset that we're in when we are frustrated. And thanks for sharing that with me. But what are you focused on? Are you focused on the long term? Are you focused on what am I going to accomplish this year? Do you have something that you're aiming for? What are the milestones maybe that are milestones for you that you've already set in stone, or things that you're aiming for that maybe you haven't written down and put up on a wall, but you're aiming for them?
Yes. So actually, I'm really glad you asked that. So if we're thinking long term, I mean, when I went into something like this, I was thinking long term because I was like, I'm never stepping foot at a job ever again. Like, I'm
Mhm.
like, this is my long term, and my mindset
Heard.
was, you're going to do this and you're going to make it happen, and there's no other choice. So that's the mindset I gave myself. With the skills that I learned actually from uh, all the training and course that I took, I actually was able to get another marketing position, social media marketing and sales. I specifically got hired from everything that I've learned from the courses. I took those skills, and so now I have my TikTok page as well as an actual job, but I'm doing the same thing for both. So
What?
yes, it's
Come
really
on,
fun. It's
girl.
very exciting.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
That
it
is
actually it
you.
transformed my legendary transformed my entire life, and I have the dream job that I've always wanted at a brand new huge company. Like, it's amazing. So I have long term, and I have my own business, and I have this one, and the
Yeah.
company, they've all seen my TikTok, and so they're like, all right, like, let's do that for us. And so
Wow.
long term, and it worked out extremely well for me, and I couldn't thank you enough for putting your everything
Mm.
out there because I would not be here today without learning everything that I did.
Yeah. Mm, 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 mm,
So
mm,
it's hard to
That
kind of balance both, um, which is my problem I'm having right now. Uh, but I will get it figured out.
there's always a challenge, Bree. There's always a challenge. And like Bill, our guest last week, military guy of 25 years or something, he said something I'll never forget. He said, "It's my challenge, and that's why I like it. They're my challenges. They're not somebody else's challenges, and I take pride in overcoming my challenges. I don't have to overcome your challenges. I don't ever have to overcome my neighbor's challenges. I don't ever have to overcome my relatives' challenges and all that, because that's codependency and that ain't none of my business. But I got to overcome my challenges if I want to feel good about myself and if I want to have the benefits that all this world has to offer, including financial freedom." And I like how you caught yourself right there. I'm happy to talk about your problems and challenges with you, but you know what? The truth of the matter is when you get off this and you go into your daily routine and you go handle those challenges, that'll do way more for you, way more for your self-esteem, way more for your confidence than me sitting here coddling you or trying to tell you it's okay or saying that I'll do it for you or anything like that. None of that. We need to design ourselves the same way that we want to design our lives. And we have to make ourselves into the entrepreneurs that we need to be to win. Our parents weren't, champion makers. They weren't. They were just sitting there trying to raise a kid and keep him alive, for God's sakes, probably. You know, if we want to win, we have to go out and learn how to win, and we have to overcome our challenges. And that's what I hear in you, Brie, and that's why you've been successful, and that's why I know that this is just the beginning for you.
It
So
is just the beginning.
thank you for sharing like this unbelievable message this morning. I absolutely want to have you come back, if you will. What would you leave? What would you leave us with this morning? We can certainly Skype in somebody here if they're calling and they really want to join the show here. They're calling you on your computer there, and they're like, "I see you talking to Dave. I know you're on Wake Up Legendary. Bring me in." But just tell them, just hold on one more minute because we need to hear one last word from you. What would you leave us with this morning?
My last words I would have to say are, and this is because I had to teach myself this, is live the life that you deserve. And I have put that at all at the end of my emails because I feel like that is so important because I didn't understand my worth until I had to take a step back and see things from a way bigger picture and see be open to many opportunities is what I should say, because a lot of people kind of looked at me funny when I told them what I was doing, and then when they saw how like fun and cool my videos were, they're like, that is amazing, like I love that, like how'd you do that? And I'm like, I thought it was funny, but it made me happy. So live the life that you deserve and don't let anyone tell you that anything you're doing is stupid, because if it makes you happy, then if you're happy, I'm happy.
If you're happy, who cares if anybody else is happy? You know what I mean? Like that's where I'm also there in my life right now, Brie, with a lot of, with a lot of situations and a lot of people too, where it's just like maybe it's the older I get, I don't know what it is, but it's such a gift for me in this business as well to care less and less each month what others think. And thankfully that happens as you get older. Has happened with me anyways. I went and I got the dad bod. I'm chasing around the kids. I don't have time for the bullshit. You know what I mean? So it's like I think also we both start to care less what people think, but also we've got less time for the bullshit and time wasters and people who don't believe in our dreams or are not going to support us. And I think we start to realize what support looks like. It's not a family member who says they love us but shames us or criticizes us. It's somebody who says, hey, you don't even have to tell me you love me. Just say, hey, I'm here to support you. How can I make you feel loved? Because love and support is an action word, right? And so we have a choice. We can surround ourselves with these people, and that's what's so great about, I think, this community is there's so many different people that I can connect with that even if I don't have entrepreneurs and people in my family or whatever that understand, they're not all going to understand. They understand. They know who Benjamin Franklin is, though, on that $100. They understand that language, though. But anyways, we have a lot of friends here that we can meet in the mornings and we can talk about this and we can go to events and we can find friends in this industry. And then it's amazing. My wife was like not in my business and not a part of my business when I first started. And now she's full time. We work side by side every single day. She's in a different room, but in the same house, you know what I mean? And it's a cool thing. So don't give up. And I'm not speaking to you, Brie, but just everybody. Don't give up on your family members. Don't give up on your friends. Just keep doing you and you'll see who loves and supports you. Just keep doing you. Don't give up on them yet, even if it seems like they gave up on you or whatever. Just keep your eye on the prize and don't let anybody get you off track. It really takes a lot of focus, and as somebody said yesterday, really putting the blinders on. And you've described that in your own way this morning, Brie, is just that focus and that determination and that willingness to experiment. And I think that you used that word earlier. So thank you. It's been wonderful, an honor. Your energy is wonderful. And come back and see us here shortly, okay?
I will. Thank you so much.
All right. We'll talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
All right, my friends, there it is. Hustle with Brie. She's awesome, and I really enjoyed that conversation, as I do each and every morning. So go and give her some support, give her a follow, see what you can learn from her, add her to your network of people who are understanding and supportive of what we're doing here, right? It's like there's a new friend that you can meet every morning, and there's somebody new, even if you don't watch the show one morning, which I don't know why you wouldn't, but um there's a lot of friends you can make in this community. So if you're new here, don't underestimate that. If you there's just God, there was so much in that interview. Experimenting, which taps into the whole initiative versus entitlement thing I've been talking about this week. I mean, there was a lot to unpack in that. And the biggest thing that I hope everybody walks away with each morning is just the fact that really you're seeing people who are ordinary, just like you, either you, your brother, your sister, your mother, your father, grandparents, whatever, and they're doing this. And a lot of it is the tell me exactly what to click and what to do. And a lot of it is we get to listen to people's experience and see how they're overcoming things. And that's why it's so valuable. So make a decision today to continue to go through the challenge. If you're going through the challenge, to invest in yourself and your education, if that's something you feel compelled to do here or somewhere else. Get into our blueprints if you can. They'll change everything for you if you use them. Okay, if you use them, my friend, and come back for another episode tomorrow. We'll see you. It'll be Friday, 10 a.m. Be legendary. We'll see you then.